Episode 6. The Interrogation of Goran Klax. Counselor Cowell had suspected deception far too early for it to be coincidence. The man was a snake, not the good kind that slithered away quietly, but the fanged, coiled type that watched you smile before it struck. So when whispers of a human rebel base trickled through the intelligence pipeline, a base that just happened to be connected to recent murmurings from Goran Klax and his shadowy ally, Cowell pounced. He dispatched the ghosts, experts in silence. They were invisible even to themselves. They slithered through databanks and security systems, feeding Cowell exactly what he needed. Enough. Enough to create a narrative. Enough to paint Goran Klax as a traitor, a revolutionary disguised as a reformer. The trap was set, and it snapped shut. Klax sat in the crystalline interrogation chamber, his wrists bound with neural suppressors that dulled even his thoughts. Cowell paced theatrically before the other council members, a holoscreen blinking behind him. Clips, out-of-context recordings, manipulated data logs, ghost reports doctored to high heaven. "You see," Cowell said, tail swishing with triumphant smugness, "Klax was never one of us. His reform attempts were a smokescreen, a cover to dismantle the High Council from within and pave the way for a human-led uprising. He is the mole, the disease we failed to quarantine." Klax said nothing, his eyes watching every word like a scalpel. "Do you deny these communications with a known fugitive, the human liar? Do you deny transmitting the coordinates to a supposedly non-existent rebel base? Do you deny conspiring against your own government? I deny your ability to tell the truth for longer than 3 seconds without choking on it," Klax muttered. Cowell grinned. "You hear that? That's defiance. That's the sound of guilt." Elsewhere, aboard a freighter above the outer moons of Vex 6, Laya stared at the grainy hollow footage, arms crossed, lips thin. Goran Klax, imprisoned. She'd warned him. Time and again she'd said the High Council was beyond reform, like trying to scrub acid from a wound with salt. But Goran had insisted. Dig, investigate, persuade. And now he was in a council cell, framed for helping her. Something that was ironically true, just not the way Cowell painted it. The revolution was never meant to be hers alone. It wasn't even about humans anymore. Alien species long oppressed, manipulated, traded like relics. They were ready. They just needed a spark. Now they had one. Klax's imprisonment spread like a charged whisper across the stars. Alien factions that had been passive turned vocal. Protests turned into coordinated discussions. Plans accelerated. She punched in a secure communication line. "We break him out," she said to her inner circle. "If we wait for him to be released, there won't be a rebellion to lead." Later, High Council Detention Facility. Sector Core 9. An explosion rocked the western wall. Red light poured through as 2 mechs and a strike team moved in, stunning guards with precision pulses. Klax looked up as the reinforced door shattered open. Laya stepped through the smoke, dressed in combat mesh and wielding dual plasma slingers. "We're out of time to play nice," she said. He blinked. "You broke into a High Council facility. You were expecting flowers? Come on, old man, time to wake up." As she deactivated his neural bindings, she continued. "We tried your way, with evidence, with mercy. But Kyle spun it into a noose around your neck. The system protects itself. We do it my way now." "Your way being?" "A revolution with the least number of casualties. But it'll be messy. Get ready." 3 days later, Outer Belt, Council Com's Disruption Center. The first tactical assault came quietly. Communications between the High Council and its off-world enforcers cut out in a synchronized blink. The facility was hit by precision-guided plasma that disabled but didn't kill. Laya's forces moved in, shut it down, then retreated before reinforcements arrived. 2 hours later, supply depots feeding Loyalist outposts suffered coordinated sabotage. Non-lethal, just enough to starve the outposts of fuel and disrupt routines. Propaganda drones released intercepted council corruption files, flooding public networks across 16 systems. Citizens began rallying. In secret transmissions, Laya and Clax issued a declaration. We are the Unity Coalition. Human, alien, rebel, dissident. We are not your subjects. We are your reckoning. By day 6, the Liberation Army moved on one of the smaller High Council seats, Relian's Hall. They didn't fire a shot. The guards defected. Council members there were detained without incident. High Council Prime, 10 days after Clax's escape. We demand your surrender, Clax said, standing now in the grand dome of the High Council. Broadcasts across the galaxy showed the standoff. Councillor Call stood at the head of what remained of the Loyalists, his face etched in disdain. You dare put yourselves above the law? There is no law, Call. Just you and your ilk clinging to power. I will not surrender. Laya stepped beside Clax, lifting her weapon slightly. Then we'll pry the truth from your ruins, one piece at a time. Cowell sneered. The war wasn't over. It had just begun. And he began to retreat to his stronghold, a fortress designed for this very moment. He had been hoarding council resources like cheeky squirrels with rabies for winter. He was the one behind the suffering of the whole galaxy, and Clax now was more invested than ever before in the revaluation, knowing this low life had been the one causing his people to live in such poor living conditions.